but I don't know enough about you. Just when I think you're mine, you try a different line. And baby, what can I do? I read the latest news, no buttons on my shoes. But baby, I'm confused about you. You get me in a spin. Oh, what a stew I'm in. 'Cause I don't know enough about you. Know a little bit about biology, a little more about psychology. I'm a little gem in geology, but I don't know enough about you. Hi from Chicagoland. Hi, Elaine. Wonderful to see everyone. California. Hi, everyone. Roxana, Holly, Rebecca from Mississippi. Hi from I'm sure is Michigan. Donna from North Carolina. Ohio, Twin Lake, Michigan. Love it. Hi, everyone. It's wonderful to see you. Joette Calabrese here. It's 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time every Monday night at this time. And today is, I thought I'd give the date because I'm going to make a little announcement tonight about an upcoming course. It is October 28th, 2019. And so I'll talk a little bit more about that, about the course in a little while. But tonight, I'm so looking forward to this. We're just stepping aside from studying materia medica, if you don't mind, because I know that this is cold, sore throat, and flu season, and that's what we're going to talk about. And I've got something that I've used through the years on and off, and I find that each year when a cold or sore throat or flu comes around, there are certain ones that kind of come to the fore. That is not uncommon to see that in homeopathy. And so that is something that when we see it happening, we see one person in a family get a particular illness, cold or flu or cough, that's something that's contagious. Then we sometimes see other members of the family who get it in the same way. We can just use the same medicine, not give it a thought. And then we also find that it is happening throughout society. And we call that the genus epidemicus, which means it's kind of, it's the epidemic that's going through the human society at around this time. And so I've got a little bit of a read on that. And so what I'm finding, and this is mostly not with my clients so much, but more with my family and people around me. And so I'm finding that there are a couple that are really standing out. But before I even go to those, the first thing I want to point out, and I'm not getting paid for this, I want you to know I do not have any affiliate programs. I get no sponsorships. On my blog, I've said this before, on my Facebook Live, anywhere, I do not get paid by anyone to send you to a particular product. I'm just going to tell you the products that I like. I love this product. I've talked about it before. Cold Calm. Let's get it straight here. By Boron. And if you go to Boron, Boiron, and order it, or anything you order there, and you put in the little, when you're checking out, you put in the little box, the little, what would you call it? The code. The discount code, if you put my name, Joette, not my whole name, not my last name, just Joette, Joette, you'll get a discount. A discount coupon? That's the way it works, a coupon? All righty. A coupon. All right. I thought it was just a flat out discount. I believe it is. Oh, it's in the coupon code. I think that's what he's saying. It's a coupon code. So you put my name, Joette, and you will get a discount. So Cold Calm, I love it. This is for when it's a cold. You know what I mean? It's not here. It's not really here. It's not really in the ears so much. It's more in the head, a cold, a head cold, sinuses, all in that area. That is what this is great for. Now, let's say this medicine acts for you, and I'm going to assume it does if it's in this area. Be sure to read the back. I always say this, read the ingredients so that you know exactly which homeopathic medicines were in there, so that someday, let's say it's not available for some reason, you don't have it, you're on vacation, you don't know what to use, you don't have cold calm, you know what the medicines were on there. Now, I don't expect you to memorize them, but that's how you're going to learn your remedies. You want to know, and then if you look at each one of those and look them up in your Materia Medica, either mine, that you know you can purchase if you choose, or go online and read up on each one of those medicines, and it will make sense to you which ones were the ones that acted most closely to your symptoms, and then you'll know exactly which ones were the ones that did the job for you, because there are lots of there's a combination, so there are lots of medicines in here, a lot of homeopathic medicines, and so it's interesting to know which ones they are, and that's how you grow your knowledge, and that's what I want you to do. I want you to grow your knowledge. So we'll go to a couple more, but before we do that, I do want to tell you that mid-November 2019, I'll be launching, watch for this, in your emails. And also, if you're a student of mine, on your Facebook page, I'll be launching a course. I'll never remember the title of it, so I have to actually read this. Make It Stop, Escape from the Prison of Chronic and Acute Pain Using Practical Homeopathy. Learn effective protocols to uproot pain for good. So I'm going to be teaching a pain course. And I think it's going to be fascinating. We've been putting this together now for several months. And I think this is something that will be of interest to just about everyone. Now, we're not going to cover absolutely every kind of pain, but we're going to categorize them so you know what kinds of pains to look for. Is it searing pain? Is it stitching pain? Is it aching pain? Is it burning pain? So we'll have those categories. But in addition to that, we'll also have specific kinds of pains, arthritic pain versus headache pain that's pounding, headache pain that's in the sinuses, headache pain that's in the back of the neck, etc. So I think you'll love that course. Should you be interested, it might be right up your alley. All righty, so let's talk about some medicines here. Now, I use OHM Pharmacy, I use Boron Pharmacy, I use Highlands, Washington, Hahnemann Pharmacy. There are a lot of great homeopathic manufacturing pharmacies in the US. I like Helios in England, and I'm not covering all of them, but these are the ones that I use most often. These happen to be in these blue tubes are boron. And so I'm going to teach you about a medicine tonight that you may not think to use for a cold or a flu. But here is your keynote. You get sick and you ache all over. Ow, 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 ow. Everything hurts. You're restless. You're laying in bed. You're rubbing your legs together because you just feel compelled to do so. It's a slow moving, ow. Let's see if anybody can guess what medicine this is. It's slow, ow. Everything aches. You feel beat up. Feels like you've been, beat up like I always say by a snowplow, because that's from where I hail. But now that I live in Florida, my big worry is sharks, because I'm in the water a lot. All righty. So let's see if anyone can come up with what that might be. It's not a medicine most people think of for colds and flus, but it's something that's really great for a virus in which there's lots of aches and pains. And there's one more aspect to it, great fatigue. So let's see if anyone can come up with it, because this one is a little different than what you might think. And I'm finding that I've had some Bryonia. Bryonia is good. Oh my, well, that's the second one. That's my second one. I'm still thinking of another one, but yes, Bryonia is absolutely right. Hurts to move. Yes, first, yes, any movement. Yes, but there's another one. How about that first movement pain? Bryonia. Yeah, there we go, Kathy. You got it. Kathy Simone Borman Gardner, Rhus tox, you bet. Now, what's interesting about this, Rhus, R-H-U-S, tox is the second word that's abbreviated. It's really toxicodendrum, Rhus toxicodendrum or Rhus tox. We get the Rhus tox, and I like to use it in a 200. The Banerjees, I believe, use it in a, I can't remember if they use it in a 30 or 200 for this. I like it in a 200. So I use a Roostox 200, open it up, pour some pills into the cap, toss it in the mouth, and then while it's still in the mouth, I open up, yes, Bryonia. Open it up, pour a couple of pills of that into the cap, pour it directly into the mouth. Now they're mixing together. That's a great medicine for a virus. That is, you don't know whether or not it's a virus or bacterial, but generally speaking, flus and colds are viruses, especially when they're all achy like that. So it's for a virus with achiness and restlessness, that wanting to rub legs together and wanting to move, but moving hurts. But there's this low level restlessness and fatigue. And the fatigue is a little different than overall interior fatigue. It's more of a muscle fatigue. And interestingly, and we'll go more into Roostox as we get into the R's when we go into Materia Medica again, when we get back established again. Roostox is wonderful for when people say to me, my mother used to say this to me, and it was new to me when I first heard it. She said it to me some 30 years ago. I don't know. She says, my back aches and it feels, I know it sounds strange, she says, but it feels tired in my back. But I say, but Mom, did you do anything? I mean, did you lift anything? No, I just feel tired and achy in my back. That is Roostox. Now, whether that's from a flu, a cold, arthritis, that's Roostox. And so it's a great medicine for that kind of a situation. So now we've got 3 medicines. We've got Cold Calm, which is actually a combination with a number of medicines in it. And then we've got a Bryonia, because you guessed that first, Bryonia 30 and Roostox 200. And we mix them together. Now, what would happen if you didn't have Bryonia or you didn't have Roostox? And it was exactly as I just described. You just use what you've got. If you don't have what you need, you use what you've got. That's a writer downer. If you don't have what you need, you use what you've got until you can get what you need. So remember that. Own as many common homeopathic medicines as you possibly can. Best to own a kit. We sell them in the office, but you don't have to buy them from me. You can buy them online. Ours just happened to be, we have the little red kit with 100 remedies in it, and I give a lot of extra information so that you're learning while you're using these. But let's say you've run out of Bryonia or you don't have a kit, God forbid, then you just use the Roostox, and that alone might do it. And vice versa. If you don't have the Roostox and all you've got is Bryonia, by all means, just use what you've got. So those are that achy, flu-ish feeling. Now let's say it's a sore throat. Sore throats are a little different, and I've talked about this before in my blog. This combination I just taught you about, I've never written about. I don't believe I've ever written on any blog or anywhere about that, and that's why I thought it would be kind of fun to introduce you to something brand new that I'm finding is quite useful right now. But I have spoken about aconitum. I think I even talked about this last week. Aconitum 200 with Bryonia 30. That's another good one, and that is more for the cough and in the throat. So you could mix those together. You get aconitum 200, pour it into the cap, put it into the mouth. Don't chew it yet. Just hold on. Then the Bryonia 30. That's a Banerjee protocol. That's a specific Banerjee protocol. And put it in the mouth, and then you take that. And how often would you take this? You're going to take this. Well, let's see what everybody says. How often would we take, whether it's the Roostox, the Cold Calm, the Bryonia, Roostox and Bryonia, aconitum and Bryonia? Tell me what you think, how often you think this should be used. While you're doing that, I believe the aconite Bryonia combination is best for a sudden onset of symptoms. You bet. You bet. And this is the differential. Very good, Dolly. Dolly's saying, and this with Roostox is good for severe achiness. Absolutely. But that quick onset almost always includes aconitum. Aconitum is for quick onset. You feel just fine all day. And then, I don't know, 4 o'clock comes and bam, you feel like you've been hit by a snowplow, especially if you live up north. And it feels like it's just completely overtaken you within minutes. It's a little different when it creeps up and a little, you don't feel so hot, and then you're okay, and then you still don't feel so well, and it keeps accumulating. Then it's more likely going to be the Rhus-Tox Bryonia combination. Every 3 to 4 hours, says Donna. You bet. At least twice a day, depending on how severe it is. If it's really bad, yes, every 3 hours, every 3 to 4 hours. You could do it 3 to 4 times. You could even do it, Donna, every 15 minutes for the first hour. Some people like to do that every 15 minutes for the first hour until you get a real handle on it, and then back off and do it about every 3 to 4 hours. That's right. That's a good way to do it. Now, some people, and I've spoken about this before, call that loading. I don't know that I like to look at it that way, because I don't want you to just blindly take a medicine every 15 minutes without kind of noticing whether or not it's acting or not. Because if it starts to act after the first dose or the second dose, 15 minutes later might be a little superfluous. So we might want to wait. But every 15 minutes is not a bad start. Very good. And then Ash says, until you feel better. That's right. And that's how long you take it for, until you feel better. And if you start taking it and you feel better, and you can back off and maybe you can fall asleep for a little while, and you wake up again 3 hours later, you know that about 3 hours, when you start feeling sick again, you take it again. So now you know you've got a little system going here about every 3 hours. So you see, there's no exact time to take it. You're going to use your symptoms, which, as you know, I call symptoms gifts. They give us the information we're looking for, because we don't know exactly which virus it is necessarily. We may know after a week or so if it goes around and it's in the news, but we really don't know exactly which virus it is, from whence it came. We don't know an awful lot. All we know are symptoms. And our symptoms are not what we're treating. Our symptoms are what we're using. They give us the information as to what we use and how often. Okay, so now sore throat is Aconitum bryonia, but we've got one more. We've got lots more actually for sore throat. But one of my favorites, and I've written plenty about it in my blog. I think I've written about 2 or 3 times on that one. Let's see if anyone can guess the one that I am thinking of. All righty. Yes, well, are you asking about a 30th potency? Well, you would use the bryonia in a 30. Aconitum is in a 200. That's what I would do every 15 minutes for the first hour. I love it. I love it. You ladies really are on the ball. Every 3 hours, you can do it that way as well. And here's another point that I want to make a note of, is that when you fall asleep, or your loved one falls asleep after giving the medicine, you've probably done something right, because sleep is where we relax and heal. And when they wake up, or you wake up and it's back again, don't worry. It doesn't mean, oh no, it's back again. You mean, oh yes, here's my next indicator. Take it again. That's what's going to give you that great information. All righty. I got a medicine for the throat that I'm thinking about. Oh, you got it. You've got it. Let's see who got it here. Belladonna. Donna's right. Belladonna's good. But I actually like Heparsulf. Belladonna is great for when it's extremely painful. I think we talked about that last week. I like Heparsulf. In general, Heparsulfuricum calcarea. Heparsulf for short. H-E-P-A-R, sulf, S-U-L-P-H. Heparsulfuricum calcarea. Yeah, I like that. And I like it in a 200. I also like it in a 30. But Christine, very good, Christine. Merc Sol is also very good for sore throat. It's not my first choice. That if it's Mercurius Sol, it's not just any old sore throat generally. It's got a very distinct set of keynotes. There's a strong halitosis. There's a white patches. It looks streppy, etc. The first one I always think of for just garden variety sore throat is going to be Heparsulf. I think we've got it. I don't have much more I wanted to tell you about. Let's see if we have any questions. When would you mix Heparsulf with belladonna? That's a good question. Belladonna is very specific for pain and redness. Heat by itself is also pain, but if there's a lot of pain, you know what? I wouldn't hesitate to use Heat Bar Self and Belladonna mixed together. So you can do that. So there are a couple different ways that you can play this. But remember, Belladonna's got redness, soreness, heat, and pretty severe pain. Although Heat Bar Self does too, Belladonna's got an extra measure of it. So yeah, sore throat that's very painful. That's a good question. One of the remedies for cough work well for a dry cough that is worse in the evening. Dry coughs are a little bit different if it's a dry cough and it's a hacking cough. And by hacking, I mean cough, 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 cough. So it's even more than it's almost like it's episodic. So many coughs. Then I use something we called Ipecac, IPECAC. Sore throat with fever. This is all good. This all works with fever. All of the ones that I've told you so far. Yes, scratchy sore throat that drags on for 2 weeks. Same thing. Absolutely. Use the same thing that I've been teaching this whole evening. It doesn't matter how long. No worries. Go to remedy for cough. Yes, you bet. You go for the remedy for cough, regardless of how old it is. What is your experience with oscillococcinum? I like oscillococcinum. I don't find that it's right now, although it may be coming up soon. In France, it's one of the biggest selling over-the-counter medications, including even conventional. The French love it. And I find that oscillococcinum can be very useful. I personally have not had personal great use with it, meaning for myself. But for many others, they swear by it. Influenzinum is good. I don't use influenzinum as much as I used to. I think it can be a very good medicine if you hit it right. You got to get the right one. And so you have to buy the one that's for this particular year. But even then, it's a pot shot. We don't really know. What about having a cold, stuffy nose in a child, worse at night, can't sleep because it's hard to breathe? I would definitely go to that cold calm. That's where we want to think about cold, stuffy nose. Absolutely. Sanguinaria can be very useful for that too. Sore throat in the morning. Aconitum brine, yes, why not? Absolutely. And put it in a water bottle to take to school and sip throughout the day. Well, I don't know that I would have a child drink it that often unless you knew that they needed to have it that often. Do you know what I mean? They could end up drinking taking it too frequently. So if they're old enough to direct them to just take 2 sips or 3 sips throughout the day or do it according to their need of pain, then by all means, yes. What were you saying about Merck Soul when you were cut out? I just repeated it, which was that Merck Soul has excessive saliva. The person has excessive saliva. There's a strong halitosis, and there's often the white spots in the throat, but it doesn't have to have all 3 of those. But if it has any of them, you bet. All right. Does it mean you don't need all? Let's see. If you start with cold symptoms like stuffy sinus, then sore throat, then cold calm, is it approving to start sneezing and watery eyes? Does it mean you didn't need all those ingredients? It's possible. It's certainly possible. It's hard to say. Don't worry too much about provings. I mean, I really don't worry about them. If it happens, let's say it is approving. You just stop using it. Don't worry about it and move on. Find the right medicine that does work. Or you can take a good hearty sniff of essential oils, of mint or camphor, or you can actually take Camphor 200, all on my blog. Check that out. Watch for the blog that I title Stop It. Stop the action of a medicine. All right, I think we have got it. Let's see. What's the difference between, I'll just ask one more quick, putting the medicines in water and putting them in food. I've heard you should not put them in food. Well, let's put it this way. When you have no choice, then I would put them in food. Sometimes you have to do it with animals. Sometimes you have to do it when there's a non-compliant family member. I used to do it with my father before he believed in homeopathy some 35 years ago. And I used to put the remedies in his soup. And a couple times I actually put it in his coffee. And it still acted. And then many years later, he started to depend very much and love very much using homeopathy. But it got him started. My mother and I used to giggle and chuckle in the next room as he said, wow, that indigestion's not there anymore. Funny how that soup works so well. All right, folks, great to see you. Sorry about the breakup. I don't know what's going on. We think it's Facebook, something with technology there. So have a great night. Mwah. See you next week. And please share this with your friends. Remember, we're on YouTube too. God bless you all. Bye.